Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Tuesday, the 13th of October. A bit of a relook at what we were looking at yesterday, where Ezekiel has a vision of God returning to Jerusalem and to the temple. Chapter 43 of the book of Ezekiel, and reading from verse 4. The glory of the Lord entered the temple through the gate facing east. Then the Spirit lifted me up and brought me into the inner court, and the glory of the Lord filled the temple. While the man was standing beside me, I heard someone speaking to me from inside the temple. He said, "Son of man, this is the place of my throne and the place of the soles of my feet. This is where I will live among the Israelites forever." And there are two thoughts that came to me as I read this. The one is that the glory of the Lord fills the temple. And I'll go back to the beginning of the book where he sees this vision of God, and he says this was the image of the likeness of the glory of the Lord, and the glory symbolizing the Lord's presence, not his physical presence, but something more remote. And here he fills the temple, and he says, "This is where my throne will be, and the soles of my feet." And this great glorious building would contain the soles of his feet, a bit like the vision that Isaiah has, where he sees the glory of the Lord and the hem of his robe fills the temple to overflowing. And we need to remember that we have a God who is not containable, who is bigger and more diverse and more expansive than anything we can imagine. And anything that we can have to contain or understand him will only ever have a slight glimpse of a fraction of God. The best ideas and understandings we can have, the best intellectual formulations, will maybe, as it says here, be a place for the soles of his feet. So that is the God we worship. And then also just the thought where he says, this temple, this is where I will live among the Israelites forever. The temple being the presence, where God's presence would dwell. And in the New Testament, we recognize, we're told by Paul that we are the temple of the Spirit, that we are the new temple. And in the same way that God's Spirit dwelt in the old temple, he will dwell in us. And the presence of God will fill us and be with us and be in us and work through us always. And so be encouraged with the notion of a God that is bigger than our biggest thoughts can contain, but at the same time a God that is present within our hearts and lives, because we are the temple of God. So know his presence with you, to comfort, to encourage, to inspire, to challenge, and be blessed.